What's up, Try Swim Coach crew? Welcome back to the Try Swim Coach podcast. This one's a quick one. We're in Hopetown, Bahamas, running our open water swim camp. I've got to say, it's been unreal. The water is crystal clear. I would say the workouts have been challenging or tough, but insightful in that we're doing a lot of technique work, not just endurance work. And I would definitely say there's been a few lessons in not swallowing half of the ocean. So yeah, we just wanted to talk about what we're doing at camp to kind of level up open water swimmers and triathletes. So we're on, what day is this?
Tomorrow's the last day, so whatever day that is, I don't know.
We're on
Everyone leaves tomorrow.
the fourth
So
day?
four?
Fourth day? All of our days seem to be running together for sure, but it's been flying by. Like, it's crazy to think that it's only the fourth day. In some ways it's gone by very quickly, but we've also done so much, right?
And time doesn't seem to stop.
No.
But I mean for us, but that's also just because we're cooking all of the meals in between, so there's sort of constant work. But for the swimmers, you got downtime. No worries.
Yeah. And doing a camp here in Hopetown in Elbow Key in the Bahamas is really sort of a great opportunity for not just open water training, but it's a special place for me as well. This is where I started my coaching career, and so it's always nice to bring people to here. There's a moment when we enter the harbor, and you could almost see people's faces go, "Oh my God, this place is amazing." I love that moment. So I love sharing that with everybody. And this is, I would say, I started my open water swimming in the Bahamas. We've talked about that in the podcast before. And so I know and recognize that this is a great place to start swimming open water.
Just because it's calmer? What makes you say that?
Well, so the clear water makes a huge difference, I think, in that having visibility in the water helps reduce some of the panic
Yeah.
or anxiety, which then allows you to kind of like process better in general.
Are most open water races low visibility? I guess that's a pretty broad question. Never mind. It just depends on the water.
Yeah, it just depends on where it is, for sure. And I think you need to get used to swimming in low visibility for those races and those, I guess, open water venues. But when you are first learning something, why make it so difficult, right?
Mm-hmm.
Start low entry, low bar to learn. I think that also the other great thing about being here is that we can swim in a couple of different bodies of water that give us different conditions.
Mm-hmm.
So we can, depending on wind conditions and weather conditions, we swim in a cove that can be very protected and pretty flat, and great opportunity to learn some skills and get endurance in and just get used to swimming open water.
And you said that's in the Sea of Abaco?
The cove is in the Sea of Abaco, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the other venue that we could swim in is in the Atlantic Ocean, actually on the opposite side of the island, where those conditions can be varied as well based off of the beach and also the wind. So sometimes we go to spots where it's a little bit, we'll say, chaotic. So there's more chop, more waves. We get the opportunity to practice entering and duck diving and getting through the break and getting through the waves, getting out of the water when there's a lot of waves, practicing that, getting to swim along shore so we can get used to swimming in swells. So
And sighting while swimming in swells, right?
yeah, just kind of getting the sighting down in swells, but also the balance and the rhythm of your stroke, kind of. Where, like, I think it was said by one of the campers that if you're not a good swimmer, you can't swim in the ocean.
Actually, yeah, when we were out the other day, one of our swimmers, she's the most experienced swimmer here, and we had just gotten out of the water, and it didn't look bad to me. And she said, she was pointing things out on the swells to me because I don't know what I'm looking at. So she was pointing a little bit farther past the break and showing the white water tops coming on a lot of them. And she was saying that races would wait like 20 minutes and most likely they would have all canceled the swim for that kind of water, which surprised me because I didn't think it looked bad. As someone who is afraid of swimming in the ocean and came from the pool, I was like, really? They would cancel the swim for this? But then she kept talking and she was like, yeah, you don't know the amount of people who sign up for triathlons who literally don't know how to swim.
Right.
Which is insane to me.
We get that, but
it happens. So I would never have thought they would closed a race for that, but she's one of the most experienced and she was saying she could feel it.
Yeah.
There were definitely swimming against it. She was like, I'm not moving. I'm not moving. I'm not moving. I'm moving. I'm moving.
And
Might be moving backwards.
that is another benefit of knowing the beaches and the currents here, and that I could ask them to swim against the current without anyone really knowing they were swimming against the current, because I was trying to play a little game on that with them, that like I had them swim against the current and then with the current, but I didn't tell anybody just to
Yeah.
see if anyone could feel it. Nobody
then-
could.
And then everyone went, I'm not moving going that way. Can we please go the other way? And you went, that's the point. And they're like, what? It's like, don't you feel the difference in the current? I would have needed that information for. If I'm swimming nowhere for that long, making no forward progression that I can feel for that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm turning around.
So this is just it's a good spot for beginners and intermediate open water swimmers to kind of gain some new skills, up the skills that they have.
We do have someone on this trip who's never swam in the open water before either.
Yeah.
She is absolutely crushing it.
It's, I think, to quote her first experience jumping in the open water, it was, "This is amazing." And I agree.
She was so cute.
But that's also a part of this, I think, is that we get to be hands-on with everyone, because we're keeping the group small. There's like 6 people, and that small group environment allows us to get to know each other so much better, and get to know sort of our, like, I would say, idiosyncrasies, where like some people have a fear of this, or some people have a fear of that, and like some people feel confident about this, but they all come together and actually help each other out beyond just having to come to us for advice or looking for feedback. And it's a really fun sort of team atmosphere.
We try to mimic it based on my training trips that I went on in high school and college. And usually for those, you're getting low-key murdered. So we've removed that. I mean, there is a lot more working out. But if you're tired on our trip, we're not going to make you swim. On my training trips, what a joke.
Right.
Get back in the pool. So it would be, those trips were basically like 2 swims a day. Sometimes we'd have to do dry land. And then we had the option to cook or go out to eat, because we were put in hotels just with our team and like a little kitchen. But it was the same kind of thing, actually way less structured. They were just like, you're adults. And your little 18-year-old stuff was like, excuse me?
I'm barely an adult.
I definitely ate frozen yogurt because we thought it was slightly better than ice cream, with
I guess
peanut
it is.
M&Ms for dinner with
Never
my
mind.
friend Sarah when we were freshmen. 100%. And then you learn, because no one cares what you eat on those trips when you're that young. So,
But they should.
So now that I cook for those trips, I'm like, we're going to make good food
Yes.
and make sure you have enough energy. But
Yes.
that's what we based it off of. So it's structured, but you get to meet new people, hang out. You're kind of almost in like a dorm situation, but at the beach
Yeah, and
with freedom.
because Elbow Key is so small, it almost feels like the whole island itself is a resort of some sort.
Yep.
So it just feels very quaint and comfortable here.
Mm-hmm.
But
Like there are 2 streets on the island of Hopetown. Front Street and Back Street. There
pretty
you
easy.
go. Education, done.
Pretty easy. So we've been focused on sighting. I would say sighting is the most important thing that we've been focused on. Just learning how to do a rolling sight, so that we don't have to lift heads up very often or very high. Frequency, I should say, is up to the swimmer, and that's something that we've been talking about, is figuring out what's the comfortable pattern of sighting for that individual and the conditions in which they're in.
I
And-
found that I need to sight like every other breath. Excuse the yawn.
Yeah,
I sight so much more than I used to.
I don't think there's a problem with that, especially if you do it well. But I'm glad that you said how you said it, because everyone wants to talk about sighting per stroke, but we talk about
No.
sighting per breath.
Yes.
And I think it's a better way to do it, because your rolling sight should be taking place during the opposite arm recovery of your breath. Even though that was a confusing statement, if you breathe to your left, you're sighting when you take your right arm recovery.
I also sort of mush it around sometimes, where I'll do a little alligator eye look,
Mm-hmm.
and then I will go to the side and get a breath and put my head down in that stroke. But I like notice that after I've done it. Like that's just me trying to fit something in. And I think I'm trying to fit in an exhale
Mm.
when I do that.
Ooh, that's a pro tip, by the way. And
Oh,
this,
yeah.
what?
All of these women, and
I
these are
think you,
Dominic's
hold,
clients.
hold on. You're going to say something differently than I was
Oh,
thinking,
okay.
but I know what you're going to say, and it's worth saying. So you say that, please.
Okay. All of these women who are Dominic's clients, and I've known one of them for over a decade. Love, love, love. But they've never been coached by me in any way, shape, or form. And so one of the things that I just noticed they were all doing was continuously exhaling all of their oxygen until they were depleted and then have to come up. And so my simple question to all three women was, do you do that on land ever? Is that how you breathe in life?
I hope not.
And they all laugh at me and go, no. I'm like, then why are you doing it in the water? Oh. I don't know. Okay. Let's talk about that. It was shocking to me. But it's just interesting, like if you're not thinking about it, bring logic into the conversation, and then it's kind of funny.
Well, what's really interesting is they all know better. They all know not to do that.
It's like I was the first person to say it to them. I'm like, Dominic's been working with you for a while. There's no way he hasn't talked to you about this.
I would say the one thing that I am an expert in within the swimming world is breathing. So I know they know this stuff. But it speaks to what happens when you get in the open water, where you kind of like revert back to things that you didn't even realize you were doing.
My brain is like a child when I first jump in.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I caught myself breathing to the right again. I was like, why am I breathing to the right?
I hurt my arm.
You hurt your arm?
Yeah, from my labrum tear. And I was like, what was that? Oh, my God.
Oh, jeez.
But it's strange because I have like less than 15 times, maybe less than 10 times I've ever swam in the open water. I'm in a pool. I love the pool, and I don't have a wall to push off here. So like everything sort of changes. Even the way I get in the water then changes my mindset for that swim.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But what I was going to mention about sighting and something that a few of the swimmers have connected is as they go to sight, they have the urge to take a breath as their eyes break the surface.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like a weird instinct that we have. It's like,
oh,
I'm clear up out of the water. I'm going to breathe forward, right? And so it's almost like you've got to get past that initial instinct to want to take a breath during your sighting. So when we sight, we should never actually have our mouths above the water line. It's a great way to get a mouthful of water and also a great way to get hit in the face. So that's why we don't want to take a breath while we look forward. But there's something in us as humans, as we break the surface, we want to take a breath.
Just like a natural movement, you have to stop.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Don't be a turtle in this.
No, please don't. So yeah, we've been working on drafting. We were working on buoy turns, learning how to do corkscrew turns, and how that leads to sort of a defensive swimming, knowing that I can cut the turn radius down by doing a corkscrew and being able to cut an inside line to turn on a buoy versus having to slam into everybody in the buoy.
Or just make a gigantic wide turn
Right.
like you're driving an Escalade.
Or driving like you're driving. I was thinking an 18-wheeler, but an Escalade's even better.
Escalade might have better turning radius than I'm aware of.
Right? But yeah, that's, I would say, the normal for a beginner to intermediate triathlete is that they make these really wide buoy turns, or they sight dead center of the buoy, and they should be sighting to the left or the right of the buoy, right? And so then once we learn how to draft off of each other, that we take that same corkscrew movement and we learn how to do a rollover, which was probably a highlight for me in teaching everyone how to do a rollover.
I like when I explained what this was, and one of the spouses was like, "That is so rude." And I went,
It's not.
"This is the exact opposite of being rude."
It's almost perspective, right? If I was just a normal lap swimmer, I would think that's rude. But if I was a normal lap swimmer and someone touched me while I was swimming laps, that's way worse, right?
I mean, I am a normal lap swimmer. And so you have to be like, I have to swim now with 8 million people who start at the same time. I don't get a lane.
Right.
Ready, go.
So why don't people lose that mindset?
Sweat mindset.
that you don't get your own lane. Everyone's fighting for that same exact piece of water that you're in.
Well, you don't have, I mean, it's not like every triathlete came from a pool, so they might not understand the concept of a lane. And then also, like, I just can't get over the amount of people who quote unquote can't swim and sign up for these events. Those are the people who turn around and like punch you because they don't understand. And if you just think about it logically, you all left from this small area of beach or wherever you started the swim at the same time
Right.
in these waves, and you all have the same goal and are trying to make it the smallest amount of distance.
Right. You're all kind of trying to find the same lane to swim in,
Yeah,
so to
you
speak.
all want to run on the inner track.
Right.
You don't all fit on the inner track, but then everyone's also always going to be trying to get to the inner track.
Right.
Like, considering people in those situations, the rollover is the kindest thing, because the amount of people who've told us that they've gotten their ankle yanked back, they've been pulled underwater, they've been gotten punched in the face,
Dunked.
those
Yeah.
are rude things to do. Acknowledging that you're going to be around a group of people and you want to try to take care of yourself without hurting people and bothering them,
Or
that's
yourself.
the rollover.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is interesting. I was like, oh, no, that's not rude, that's kind, that's considerate. But it's also, this is my race, I need to get around you.
Yeah. So I would say it's a more of an advanced skill, and I think everyone was a little weary of me rolling over them, but I needed to do that so they could feel that it doesn't really disrupt the other swimmer, because that's what this is all about, right? The rule in open water swimming is you can't impede another person's stroke. Well, rolling over them does not impede that, but if you grab someone's arm or their ankle, you're impeding that and you're a jerk. So don't do that.
Technically, then breaststroke should never be allowed, because you're
It shouldn't
also
be, but-
impeding everyone's stroke. But whatever, that's fine, triathlon. You keep that rule.
I understand it, and some people have to swim breaststroke to get across. That is what it is. If someone's swimming breaststroke in front of you, avoid them. They will kick you in the face and it will hurt.
Yep.
So,
And they won't know.
yeah,
And they
they
did
won't
not
know.
mean to, so
Yeah.
don't then go try to punch them.
Right. Right. So part of it's, getting used to drafting and being in close quarters with people. And then part of it's just understanding you have a means to get out of it without having to stop your momentum or to even concede to somebody else who's running into you.
And drafting in the pool is the exact same concept as drafting on a bike, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So we are going a little bit long. We got to get this wrapped up so we can get to our first open water practice this morning. Any cool moments that you stand out for you?
You sure you want to ask me that after the bike ride yesterday?
Oh, because I was going to say, I really enjoyed the bike ride yesterday. And this is the wonderful world in which we live in, how we can be doing the same thing, but have very different experiences. But it wasn't for me just the bike ride. I actually really enjoyed stopping and getting Vitamals with everyone and seeing some people's reactions to the taste of Vitamalt and other people's sort of reaction to enjoying Vitamalt.
So we rented some beach cruisers from like 1981. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Kickstand, pedal backward to brake. Okay? I haven't been on one of those bikes, A, since the last time I was here, and B, before that. I have no idea. So I'm not good on these contraptions. Group of people who've never been here before. Dominic's in the front, right? He knows where we're going. I have to lead up the back just to make sure we're all good.
No stragglers.
I swear that no one's going to believe this, but I got hit by 2 vehicles and fell over twice. Once. Hit by 2 vehicles, fell over once.
That's being hit by 2 vehicles and only having to fall over once.
The fall over wasn't even related to the vehicles. And I've never been hit by vehicles before.
It's not fun.
It was not fun. And then I'm like, okay, get back up. Don't lose the group. I will get lost. I don't know this bike ride unless Dominic's butt's in front of me on that bike. So it was a beautiful bike ride. And in case you're wondering, Vitamalt tastes like blended Raisin Bran.
With a lot of sugar.
The second ingredient in it is sugar. And yesterday I kept being like, I'm not sure if I can remember this is healthy or not. It is not. The bike ride was beautiful though. Just, be careful and don't get hit by cars.
So since that wasn't a very good moment for you to recall, do you have any swimmer unexpected thoughts that you heard people say? Because we've heard a few, all right, but it's
Well,
hard to
since
like translate it because it's just like the thoughts that have been shared with me have been like very kind and almost sound like I'm making them up. But when people say things like, this is invaluable opportunity to learn because I don't get this chance at home, or I don't feel this comfortable swimming in open water at home and this has been invaluable, those sound unbelievable, but those are the things that have been said to me this week, and those are the things. Those are the reasons why I do this camp, because those are invaluable moments for people.
no, because I'm still so traumatized for being hit by 2 vehicles yesterday. But one of our swimmers, Christine, did really like, and like I said, she's not my client, so I think sometimes you just hear things differently from other people.
Sure.
And I asked her, one of my favorite questions, was that more physical work or more mental work? And she has clung to that all trip. And she's like, I keep asking myself what Lissa would say. Is it more physical or is it more mental? And it's always been more mental. And I'm like, great. Now we figure out how to keep the mental and lower the physical so we can keep going. I don't know. So that was nice, since I don't work with people who've worked with you, and you're like, oh God, what can I think? You're I was going to say Achilles. I'm just trying to think of things that are in gold, and for some reason, the only giant structure I can think of is the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Okay.
I'm very tired.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Sure.
a very pale human, and I don't live in the sun. I've also been cooking mainly all breakfasts and dinners and going on all of these excursions. I don't know my name anymore. I was just trying to say you were like the Adonis of...
Whoa. Thanks.
There we go. But I wanted a statue associated with it, so you're just Adonis, but you look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Is that that's what I look like?
The giant one from Ghostbusters, because he's so...
Puffy and big.
I don't know, that's just the first giant thing that came to mind. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please Google it. Although most of you should definitely.
I can't
older than
imagine.
me. I've totally lost the question because I got real stuck on the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. What did you ask me? I literally have no idea.
I was asking if there was just any memorable moments from a teaching perspective, or something that somebody said to you that was
Right.
significant that they didn't expect to kind of come to understand while they were here.
I do like that mental thing that Christine said, because I think it's because these people do work with you, and I started coaching after you. And so I always have this complex that, like, you are the upper echelon, like no one's going to say anything that you haven't already said or do something you haven't already done. So it's interesting that she does ask herself that question now. And I really appreciate it, because I think that that's a ton of the work that you have to do when you get to certain levels in swimming to be able to swim longer, gain strength, understand, figure out how you can meditate, have an easy workout, things like that. It's so much mental work.
It is.
And so starting to think about it like that when you haven't, I think that's really cool. But it is kind of scary sometimes, because then you open this giant can of worms. You're like, wait, what am I thinking about now? What about in here?
Or what I think really happens is a lot of time people go, my worst attribute about my swimming is my breathing. Breathing is what's killing me. But they haven't really considered that maybe they need to learn how to slow down so that they can breathe and control their breathing. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like asking these questions of yourself and understanding your own mental efforts as well as your physical efforts really help to bring things together. And because the camp is intimate like this, we get to have these types of conversations with people that maybe an athlete might not have with another coach, because the trust and the bond hasn't been built yet.
But they're definitely more vulnerable.
Yeah, we're very transparent during this camp, and we're very vulnerable ourselves during this camp, because we become very sort of like tribe or family-esque, right? Because we're like feeding everybody. We're always doing stuff together. So it just lends itself to having these types of conversations. It's really impactful, actually. But anyway, we've got to get sunscreen on and get ready to go.
Ugh.
So that is the Camp Podcast. Until next time, we will talk to you later.